the number 12 Northwestern Wildcats getting ready to take on the Drake Bulldogs here on this lovely Friday night in Evanston. Standing over the ball, Thaddeus Dewing. Our referee today has given the ready for play signal. And we are underway. It's Khalaf Alatefa Makawi in the middle as the official. The two ARs, Chris Spasvoici and Martin Garcia on the outsides. Wildcats will begin with some possession, and they've gotten into this three at the back look to kick things off, Matt.
And already we're seeing a bit of a change in how Drake wants to press. They're pressing in a 4-1-3-2, which is actually how Northwestern sets up in their mid block. And I really thought that Drake would try and maybe match Northwestern, given that three back, how much success that they've had through those first couple of games. And we'll see how this game evolves. But when we talked to Coach Pat Flynn just a couple days ago, he mentioned Northwestern is not a team that you want to go behind against. So I anticipate a strong start from Drake coming out of this one.
Both teams with some slight changes. As you mentioned, Drake in that 4-1-3-2 to press. Northwestern sent Tyler Glassberg up the wing and got into more of a three at the back look. Here's Thagard laying it off. Claggett can't find much. Gajadhar trying to run it down now. Marked closely by the Bulldogs, who are extending themselves a little here now.
And that's one of the advantages, Noah, about this shape for Northwestern is it allows Javen Vandeventer to come inside where he is most comfortable. So in defense, you'll see him push out to that far side. But in the middle, as you can see, he's able to show for Bryant Mayer up and close.
Well, Thagard receives again, but the ball is cleared away by Cole Schrage, part of this Drake back line. Schrage, the sophomore out of Urbandale, Iowa. There's a Drake team. A lot of players from Iowa. A lot of players from Scandinavia. Interesting mix. They got some guys from all over the place, though, putting them together into a cohesive lineup. Holding it up at the top now. Where Northwestern was doing. Laid it off for McCamey, and now Glassberg breaking it down on the outside. Tyler Glassberg can't quite find his way around Eric Leggett, but the ball is eventually out for a corner.
And Russell Payne had a lot of good things to say about Tyler Glassberg. Fritz Volmar, we expected to start this season in that position at left back, but he's slowly working his way back up to full fitness. Payne said he's about 90%, so we will expect to see him this evening. But Tyler Glassberg has slotted right in. He's felt very comfortable.
So Javen Vandeventer standing over this corner, looking to send in an in-swinging ball. McCamey, the option for a short corner, should he choose to go that way. Wildcats with 5 players in the 6-yard box. A lot of holding going on in there right now. The referee letting it go. And that one's lower than Vandeventer wanted, but he runs it down on the clearance. And sends it in over the top. It'll be a goal kick for Thomas Butkovich and Drake. For the Bulldogs, you mentioned, Matt, how much you don't want to play from behind against Northwestern. But it'll be tough for them to find a way, we expect at least, to much possession and especially possession in Northwestern's half today. So, Matt, do you think that they're going into this game looking for chances at the counter, or are they going to try to build a little bit more in possession?
I think absolutely they will look on the counter. And they have Preston Kipnusu, who I thought was very dangerous running in behind against Creighton, who plays a very similar way to Northwestern. So I think Drake will have learned a lot from that match. And as Pat Flynn told us, it was 100 degrees for that match. So they were tired. They were trying to really get themselves up to full fitness. And I think here on this cool night, beautiful stadium, it's a little bit more suited to their taste.
Well, Kipnusu earns himself a throw-in going forward for Drake. Rising above everybody else with that 6'4 frame, the true freshman wants it again and plays it off. Ball is laid off, but cut out there by Dewing, who starts it the other way. And Austin Holtebeck sends it back to his true freshman keeper. Butkovich uses that boot down the far side. That ball goes out for a throw-in for Northwestern. It's a relatively warm night here in Evanston, but it's starting to get a little cooler. As that ball played over the top for Thagard. Chasing it down, took a shoulder in the back, and a foul was called there. So it'll be a free kick in a dangerous area for Northwestern. Thagard put a lot of pressure there on this Drake defense. That looked like Austin Holtebeck coming over to try to stop him. believe it was a free kick in that corner, not a corner. That's what the initial signal from our official was. And yeah, it will be a free kick. So McCamey and Van de Ven are standing over this one, and perhaps a slightly better angle to send this ball in than from the corner flag.
I think Holtebek's a little bit unfortunate there to get called for a foul. That ball is pretty much away from Chris Staggard. Holtebek doesn't really have to foul. He just has to shield the ball out, and there he just gets called.
Well, Van de Ven over it again. McCamey raises his hand, though, and sends in the outswinger. Lower than he would like again. Van de Ven back to the middle. Thagard tried to play it down. Still loose in front. Thagard on his left foot. Working to his left. And the cross is cut out. Gajadhar races back to try to head it forward. Now has to do some cleanup work. Plays it all the way back to Ponce de Leon.
And that's 2 balls now in the corner. The corner and the free kick that Northwestern has not managed to beat the first man. And for Russell Payne, who spoke so highly of this team's ability to deliver on set pieces coming into this season, I just want to see a little bit more from that. I want to see a more dangerous ball into the back post.
Esquiliard on the defense there, but Northwestern takes it back. Gajadhar opens it up for Brian Mayer. Now it's back across to his brother. Glassberg getting into the possession. Northwestern working this left side in the early going. McCamey saves it, but cleared away by Holtebek. And clearly have identified that they want to attack with Glassberg down that far side.
And I would anticipate Russell Payne noticed how much Eric Leggett likes to get into the attack for Drake, occupying that right back position. He really wants to step up. I mean, he plays a lot of midfield for this team. So having to stick him back there, Payne anticipates that there will be space in behind for McCamey and Glassberg to exploit.
Well, Reese Mayer looking to go for a long throw here. Prince holds it up. Glassberg doesn't play it back strongly enough. And the attempted clear blocked away by McCamey. Segura could only get it so far, but it will be a Drake throw. So with these changed lineups for these teams, Matt, for these coaches, does it change anything about your substitution pattern, knowing that you have typical, I mean, you can't really say typical just 3 games into the season, but typical starters on the bench? Is there a chance to use that they use one of those 6 moments that we know they get this year earlier than typical?
Well, Russell Payne has traditionally brought on Javen Van de Ven and Chris Staggard in that first moment. So I would anticipate the 2 people coming out, Paul's son, Akinjide Awujo, to be the players that come in that first moment. And then for Drake, a lot of their substitutions, unfortunately, were impacted by the injuries against Creighton and the Heat. So I don't think they've yet to really establish a consistent subbing pattern, especially given that they played an NAIA team in their first match in Grandview. Their lineup looked a little bit different than I think it will for the rest of the season.
As Budkovic stands over another goal kick, the Australian goalkeeper smashes it away. Lovely signs of a sunset on the other side of the pitch here over Lake Michigan. Of course, this very venue will hold a football game in just about 15 hours. But for now, Drake attacking down this left-hand side. Shragi, now it's played all the way back through Yarda. Now over to the right-hand side. Drake switching. The longest bout of possession so far, and the whistle goes as McCamey was just about ready to dispossess on that far side. But Drake earns the foul.
And you got a little taste there of Northwestern's ability to step up the high press, dictated for the most part by Jason Gajadhar in the midfield. He'll call up Tyler Glassberg to try and step into that space. And if Drake can really stay calm in those moments and continue to switch the ball around this Northwestern team, the space is in behind in the corners.
A little bit of a pause there for the shoe tying of Evan Carlson. As Drake waits over this free kick just on the Northwestern side of the midfield line. Booted away, and easy enough for Ponce de Leon in the end. Drake never really threatened at that. Interesting choice to have Holtebek go for the long ball over the top. Maybe shows you what Drake thinks about their ability to build from the back in possession here. Prince. Northwestern really settling into that 3 at the back now, especially in possession. Looking for Glassberg on the long switch, headed away. Nice recovery by Leggett, who looked like he might have been beat initially. Brian Mayer really going for that ball that time. That's an audacious ball to play from that area of the field.
And I do think the execution wasn't there, but it's the right idea from Mayer. These spaces, Brandon Cloggett, Tyler Glassberg on the far side, is where Northwestern should have the most space.
Well, now a nice 1-2, potentially frees up Thagard. It's a nice defensive header in the end from Holtebeck to fend him off. But you love that combination there with Van Deventer and Gajadhar to set that up. Now Mayer has some defending to do and heads it out for a throw. With the two Mayers flanking Nigel Prince, this Northwestern back three feels pretty solid. There's another header from Bryant Mayer. Now as we see Glassberg, who had tracked back into that more defensive stance, clearly Northwestern shifting in defense, as we saw a lot of, to be fair, in last week's games. Now McCamey comes out wide to receive. Drake starting to push up a little, just putting a little bit of pressure, especially on this Northwestern midfield line. Trying to make that defense to midfield connection more difficult. Brian Mayer will skip it, try to go over the top. Thagard wasn't ready to make the run. And Holtebeck is going to let this go all the way out for the goal kick.
Well, just through these first 10 minutes, it really seems like Javen Van Deventer has been given the license to roam pretty much wherever he wants, to get on that ball, to act as a menace against this Drake team as they try and settle in, to pop up where they least expect him. So far, he's not managed to get on the ball per se, but it's asking those questions of the opposition, making them understand where you'll be, where you'll be next.
As you alluded to there, Matt, it's almost like a 9-man formation, and he's just roaming as the open 10th. Northwestern comfortable doing that because of their confidence in the back line in midfield. But here's some space now for Drake. And Iradikunda. Iradikunda works it across. That's a lovely ball. Backed up now, and the shot blocked off from Leggett. Trying to come the other way. And misses Thagard. That's Claggett. Couldn't quite run it down. Cammy gets there in front of Segura. Northwestern will settle things, but how about the run down the near side from Ilogi Iradikunda? First time he called his name tonight.
And that pace should be something that stands out for Northwestern when they scouted this team against Creighton. The majority of the chances, the danger in behind, came from Iradikunda on this left side. Just has bundles of pace. He wants to run at you, exactly as we saw there against Bryant Mayer.
Here's Van Deventer making something happen in the middle of the field. Van Deventer working through Drake midfielders and tried to play in Glassberg, but wasn't quite on the same page. Maybe looking for Doing as well, who gives him the little chest tap. Either way, Van Deventer, as you mentioned, Matt, looking dangerous no matter where he gets the ball. We saw a lot of that last week. And Butkovic happy to continue to play with it until he's really threatened. Comes all the way out about 30 yards out of his own net. Finally boots it away. Some space again now for Shragi down the near side. Iradikunda working on Claggett. Iradikunda throwing in some fakes. And plays it on. Yarda can't get there. Walled off nicely by Mayer. Well, both teams seem to be liking their left sides right now in attack. Haven't seen a lot develop through the middle or the right side either way. It's been a bit of a sluggish start overall, given the way Northwestern started their first couple games, as Nigel Prince settles over this one. One of the best returning defenders in the country. Relatively underrated player still on a national scale. Gajadhar steps through it. Looking over the top for Doing. Again, the Drake defense up to the challenge. Leggett again tracking back there. I say tracking back because he's been going forward so much. Made the play.
Drake has done a really good job defensively at compacting themselves both in width and in depth. Northwestern has really had the majority of their chances on the counterattack.
Thagard trying to run this one down, but Shragi beats him to it, and the sophomore does well. But Gajadhar trying to back it up. Walled off initially by Yarda, but gets back on it. Claggett played it off his own hand, it looks like, but the play continues. And Radukunda earns a throw. Wildcats trying to unlock Thagard. Drake seems to have their number every time they go for it right now. As the Bulldogs reset. And now Northwestern starts to put a little bit more pressure on. Forcing some possession here out of the back. Leggett. It pokes free to Segura. Nutmegs McCamey. And now it's opened up. Drake's starting to gain some confidence in possession here with Shragi. And now they knock it on for Radukunda. He's got space to work in across. Gets it off the right foot. Can't be cleared. Segura on the ball. And Leggett has his shot blocked, but it will be a corner. Glassberg a little bit frustrated as Northwestern really allowed a run of Drake possession there. The Bulldogs look good so far.
And I really thought that Drake would attack on that right side because of the free roll that Javen Vandeventer has taken up. It puts a lot of defensive responsibility on Tyler Glassberg, and there's a lot of space. But all credit to the Bulldogs. They found it on this near side. They really like what Iradukunda's been able to do, getting down to the byline and whipping that ball in across.
Will be the Suwanee, Georgia native, Damian Segura, to work this one in. Headed away by Prince. And the shot deflected in front from Carlson, and finally Claggett able to clear. Segura over the top. He was looking for Kip Nusu. Good defending in the end from Northwestern.
It's really well done by Bryant Mayer. You have to have one eye on the ball, and then you know Kip Nusu is right on your back, breathing down your neck. And at 6'4", really any touch of the ball from Kip Nusu at that distance will be testing Ponce de Leon.
And we've already seen plenty of Kip Nusu's ability to get his head onto it, leveraging himself and his big frame. So Drake continues here in the Northwestern half. They're going to move left again, at least for the time being. Shragi. Radukunda trying to break down. Claggett gets it back. We've seen that stabbing outside of the football a couple of times. It's been successful the first couple of times for Carlson. Missed on it that time. But he's really trying to play Radukunda in. As you mentioned, Matt, he's the threat down this left-hand side with his pace, even against a fast midfielder in Claggett on his opposite.
And when we talked to Russell Payne, we specifically brought up the substitutions, the new rules, and he said that he wants to really reserve one moment for this first half and try and keep it for later if possible. But I think Northwestern needs something different up top. I think they just need a little bit of pace. They need to inject something. I think it shouldn't be too long before we see Akinjide Owujo on the field.
Segura. Headed away initially by Prince and was caught in the feet of Kip Nusu, but now McCamey on the ball. And Thagard with space in front. Trying to run. Thagard chased down from behind. Stays on the ball. Yarda did well that time defensively. Skill Yarda. Norwegian midfielder. Junior stands 6 feet tall, and he's got a filled-out frame. Used his strength on that play. Now the Bulldogs on the far side. Holtebeck headed away by Claggett, who made up ground nicely there. Russell Payne discussing with his staff on his sideline. Talking specifically over there, it looks like, to Ronnie Buambwe. Maybe about those potential changes you mentioned, Matt.
Well, Owujo and Paul Sun as well, the other person who started the first 2 matches for Northwestern, I see both of them warming up, as well as Joe Suhetsky. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Jason Gajadhar in the middle of the pitch. He's really struggled to find space to get on the ball.
Yeah, Drake has been swarming these Northwestern midfielders so far. We talked to Coach Russell Payne about that potential 4-4-2 matchup. He said he was really confident that his midfielders in the center, Gajadhar and McCamey, would have the advantage in that regard. Just hasn't really been the case so far.
Well, I think if they play a 4-4-2 that's more spread out, they do. But the way Drake has been compressing themselves, they have essentially 6 guys in the middle of the pitch against 2 for Northwestern. I mean, it's impossible to keep possession that way.
Well, you've got to credit Pat Flynn with the adjustment, as here's a loose ball in front. Dangerous challenge from Ponce de Leon, and another dangerous challenge. Referee doesn't raise his hand either time. Reese Mayer got close to putting himself in trouble there. Yarda not pleased. Our referee says, no, play on. And Matt, did you think that could have been a penalty?
I don't think so. Well,
they're going to look at it.
They're going to go to VAR.
Yeah, they're going to go to VAR. Ponce de Leon making himself big. Segura eyes it. And scores. Well, Ponce de Leon guessed left. His left, that is. And Segura went against tendency, went the other way. And Drake, after a video assistant review gives them a penalty, has their first goal of the game. They have opened with the lead against the number 12 team in the country.
It's a convincing strike. And you said exactly that. Rafael Ponce de Leon had seen the two penalties, we imagine, knew which way Segura had gone in those first two matches. So Segura goes the other way. And it's something really difficult when you have this many penalties at the beginning of the season, because there is a lot of film for your opposition to study. But credit to Segura, he changed it up, put that penalty coolly home.
Third goal of the season, as you alluded to, Matt, for Damian Segura. He has an assist as well. Just such a capable finisher, the junior. Georgia native for this Drake side. He wears that number 10 shirt for a reason. And now Drake wouldn't necessarily say has earned fully with the run of play, but they've been the better side, it's looked like, through much of this first 20 minutes, and they have the goal to show for it. How will Northwestern respond? Doing knocked off the ball. Another one-header for Kipnusu, who goes down in a heap. No sympathy from our official.
And that will be the key, is how does Northwestern respond? They've yet to go behind in a match this season. Now, again, this is only their third game, but they've been leading at every point so far. Very early against Green Bay, scored about 30 minutes into their match against DePaul. Now they find themselves behind. They have a lot of time to work with. Still 25 minutes until halftime. They just need to cool down, and I think now more than ever is the time for Russell Payne to bring in those substitutions to try and freshen things up just a little bit.
Well, he's giving this starting group a little bit more rope to work with for now. Thagard nods it on. Claggett on the ball, plays it over his head. Was hoping for doing, and found only the arms of Thomas Butkovic instead. Radakunda, hoping to unlock something. Prince gets there first. Now Radakunda back on the ball. Can't get by Bryant Mayer. Mayer with space and time. Bit frustrated by a lack of options there. Now backs it off.
And that's what they lose in this formation by bringing in someone like Javen Vandeventer. You sacrifice that post-up play that Paul Sun, that Akinjide Awujo are more prone to doing. With Vandeventer, he wants to play through the middle. And that can just clump things up for Northwestern. It can make it difficult to really try and break those lines.
Claggett. Knocked away. Again, Drake clogging up that middle, as you mentioned, effectively. Yarda. McCamey heads that away. Doing. Nearly won the race there. But now Leggett back on the ball. And ahead, a lovely worked ball for Kirsch. Jackson Kirsch striding into space. Kipnusu walled off initially by Prince, and the clearance comes in the end from Glassberg. Drake looked like they had another chance going forward. Offsides on the far side. Does the flag go up? Doing a little bit overzealous. And Drake continues to take control of this game.
It's those 1-2s around the fullbacks that Northwestern has struggled with, whether it's Bryant Mayer, Brandon Claggett tracking back, or Tyler Glassberg. Every time that Drake has played a 1-2 between Iridakunda and a central midfielder, or Damian Segura and a central midfielder, they've been able to pull it off.
Kipnusu using that body, but can't quite get it away from Prince. Now Thagard, surrounded by gray jerseys, gives it back. Northwestern is really struggling to build any possession right now in any area. Up the middle, through the sides, doesn't matter. Not a great ball by Butkovic. McCamey from Mayer. And here comes Segura again. Options in the middle. Plays it on. Looking at the back post. Brian Mayer, a little bit nervy for a second there. Clears it away. Time and space for Kirsch, who opened it up for Yarda. And now Eskil Yarda, pressured by Van Deventer. We continue to see Owujo and Son get loose over there. But still no subs have gone to the table for Northwestern.
And we saw a little bit of this out of Drake in their game against Creighton when they went behind 5-3, building out in a 3-back, putting Northwestern, in that case Creighton, but here Northwestern man-to-man, pushing 5 up front, forcing Northwestern to drop both Claggett and Glassberg alongside their 3 central defenders.
Well, McCamey bodied away, trying to save it, but unable to is Glassberg. And it will be a throw for Drake. Northwestern trying to bring on subs now, looking to use that first moment. And it will be the 2 that Matt forecasted. Paul Son enters, and Akinjide Owujo as well. So maybe now Northwestern heads back to a little bit more of a stalwart 4-4-2. And how will Creighton respond? How will Drake respond? Pardon me. Talking about Creighton. Got me thinking about Creighton.
Well, just looking at those 2 Northwestern substitutions as they came off the pitch, Javen Van Deventer looks pretty dejected. He looks frustrated. He hasn't been able to get the ball in possession, and he's been asked to do so much, pressing the ball every which way against a Drake team that has continuously switched it, has stretched Northwestern out, and has prevented the Wildcats from getting any sort of structure in this match.
Well, Olatefa Makawi has spied some shirt tugging, and Northwestern earned a free kick, and now will hold things a little as Paul Son comes to the ball. First touch for Son as he opens things up to the left. Now Northwestern already starting to come forward with some purpose. Glassberg back for Son. Guarded closely. It's taken away again by Yarda. He's had a really good start to this one. Yarda battling hordes of Northwestern defenders and earns a free kick.
Eskil Yarda has had a fantastic start to the season. Statistically, one of the best defensive midfielders in Division I college soccer at the moment. But I think what he's doing when Drake has the ball now is even more important. He's finding little pockets of space, and he is the one that's unlocking Northwestern central midfield. He's the one breaking those lines into his attackers.
Bryant Mayer rises for the header, finds McCamey. Evan Carlson coming over in defense. Mayer back on. And now Prince. We're seeing Drake stick in their same formation defensively here. Why fix it if it's not broken? As McCamey tries to break down Carlson one-on-one. That'll come back off McCamey for a Drake throw. Northwestern just not looking very dynamic right now. A lot of flat-footedness, a lot of standing still. A lot for these Wildcats to fix here as we enter the final 18 minutes of half number 1. They chase a goal. Owujo, first time on the ball. Loses it quickly. Yarda there. Plays it back. And really, Eskil Yarda has looked like the best player on the field for large swaths of this game already. As that's worked over the top. We've seen Kim Nusu put to work running balls down. He got to that one, but Reese Mayer able to clear it away and keep it in for a really long time. That stayed on the line. Wow, the spin for Reese Mayer. I think everybody expected it to just roll out, and it ends in a bit of a botched clearance there. Drake manages to keep it in, I suppose. It didn't necessarily look in from our angle, but hey.
We are on the other side of the field.
We are on the other side of the field. Certainly a better look for the AR over there. And it will go out for a Northwestern throw eventually in the end. Drake team just looking more energetic than Northwestern. But the Wildcats earn another throw a little farther forward. And Owujo itching to get a chance on the ball in the box. Down the line it goes. Glassberg holding it up, playing it to the middle, and cut out there before it could reach the foot of doing by Holtebeck. Sun on the throw now, but he'll leave it for Reese Mayer. Number 5 might try the long throw in as Brendan Claggett heads back, and the rest of the Northwestern lineup mostly heads forward. Mayer capable of getting it in near the middle of the box from here. Prince typically the target on these, and he goes after Prince. Nodded on. McCamey trying to settle. Now Prince over the top and missed everything by a good amount. Northwestern with a bit of an opportunity there.
It's not a bad effort from Nigel Prince, given that he has 4 guys defending him. I just think in that case, Reese Mayer has to recognize that play that they love to do so much, that they scored against Indiana last season, Nigel Prince flicking it on, he can't do it if he can't get to the ball. Maybe someone shows short, and they build out from there and then try and put that one into the back post.
Yeah, at a certain point, if teams have your long throw read, you got to go to the short throw as a counter, you would think. Not trying to dumb it down too much, but still. Again, Kip Nusu rising for a header win. He's been really effective in the air. That's offsides by a decent amount there. So Northwestern's back line plays it well. Leaves Carlson with nowhere to go. Drake's starting to ready some subs. Nobody's come over yet to the middle. But there's conversations going on the Bulldog sideline, and Penny's being taken off. Reese Mayer. And now Glassberg trying to hold it up. Goes down and is pushed in the back. Displeased with that call is Ryder Barrett in the middle. It's not the most veteran back line in the world. You got Leggett, who's a senior. Barrett and Holtebeck. Holtebeck, the grad student, of course. Ryder Barrett, the junior. And on this near side, Schrage, the sophomore. Sun to the middle. Flying free. And the header, he left a little to the left. But there was an opportunity for Northwestern, seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of the box.
Thaddeus Dewing has looked the most dangerous player in a black jersey this evening. And a lot of that has come from him posting up, getting on the ball and playing as that target man. But that time, gets a really good head to it. I don't think he's that far off.
He's not. From our angle, at least, it didn't look like he was far away.
And already you can see that the momentum has changed just a little bit with Northwestern bringing those 2 substitutions on in Awujo and Sun, trying to get some more energy into this team.
Prince wins a header. Decided to do it himself. He saw Kip Nusu win a few too many of those. And now Gajadhar surging forward. Awujo with the overhead kick. Wildcats putting pressure on in waves now. Nice save. That's a lovely piece of work with the right foot of Radakunda. It's going to maintain possession for Drake. And now coming forward, Ponce Leon's going to have to come well off his line to boot this away, but a chance for Awujo going the other way, and Ponce Leon is a bit too strong for his own good there. He was just thinking about booting it away. Certainly wasn't thinking about playing Awujo in. Northwestern readying 4 subs now. Clearly wanting to make a sea change, and you're giving me a shrug up here, Matt. You understand it from Russell Payne.
I'm not surprised. I mean, Russell Payne told us that they want to use one moment so long as the game plan is going the way they want it to, and at this point it's not. They have to change things up. I really like to see Italo Adamandi coming on, a goal and an assist in those first 2 games after missing all of last season with a knee injury. And then Joe Suhetsky, we were talking about him during warm-ups. I think this game could use a little bit of his presence to match up well with the size of Eskil Yarda, who's just had his way against Northwestern.
So it's those 2 on in the midfield. Fritz Volmar enters on the left back. No surprise there. We've seen a lot of Volmar always as he's worked back into a more significant role in this lineup over the course of this season. And then Peter Reese enters up top for Northwestern. So it's Reese and Awujo up high right now with Sun leading this press. Trying to put the freshman goalkeeper in a bad position. We've already seen a couple of questionable balls from him. Reese Mayer backtracking, shielding. Kip Nusu runs him over. What a strong play by the freshman. I mean, this is what Preston Kip Nusu looks like barely a month or so into college. Imagine what this guy will look like after a year or two of hitting the weight room. Already such a strong and physical force up top for Drake.
Well, Drake being, I believe, the only Division I soccer program in Iowa, they have a really good track record of getting the top high school players. Preston Kipnusu, Gatorade Player of the Year this past year. The year before that, they were also able to recruit them.
That one took a touch. Would be a Northwestern throw if it's out. It looked like it was, but no. Reese runs it into Sun. Flying in for the clearance is Barrett. Reese Mayer put under pressure and goes with the overhead clearance. And now stepping through it nicely is Yarda. Segura with space. Works in a left-footed ball. Kipnusu the target, and Ponce de Leon got there first. It's an excellent ball from a long way away from Damian Segura. Asking questions of the Wildcats defense. Sun with space. His first touch let him down there. Segura calms things the other way and earns a throw.
Well, Kipnusu lost a shoe.
Well, he's coming out anyways, so he's just going to keep holding it in his hand, I believe. 3 subs for Drake as they'll use their first moment. We see a man we expected to see relatively early on in this one, the grad student J.P. Pascarella out of Blaine, Minnesota. Looking for the other two here. Dalton Visconti has come on, the sophomore out of Lee Summit, Missouri in the midfield. And one more. It looks like Visconti will play up top for now. We'll get you that last entrant when I have it here. Throw-in goes long. And will be a corner was the initial indication. Yeah. Another slight misplay by this Northwestern back line. So Kirsch to take the corner. He's remained on. Plenty of heads in the middle of the field. Holtebeck, dangerous there. Visconti, Yarda. And it's towards Holtebeck, but over him and headed away. Nigel Prince did well. Drake regathers. Reese applying pressure, gets it back for Northwestern. We would not expect to see Northwestern use a third moment in this first half, so it's looking like it's this 11 for the Cats for the last 8.5 minutes before they make some changes at halftime. We'll see how this stretch plays out. Will Drake use a second moment or try to save some for a second half that could go one of a couple ways? A free kick from about 40 yards out. Suhetsky going to take it quickly and play it back to Reese Mayer. And now Bryant. Owujo. Brian Mayer will take the throw. So it's this Drake team that's morphing a bit now. Visconti up high by himself in defense. As we've seen both of their starting forwards in Segura and Kipnusu come off. Much more defensive look for the Bulldogs. Volmar did well to keep it in on the far side, but lost it quickly. Visconti. And now space down the far side. Reese Mayer had that one well in hand as Carlson tried to open it up.
It just doesn't look like the same Northwestern team that we saw last week in those 2 matches against Green Bay and DePaul. They look a little bit slow. The midfield is not moving as proactively as we saw against the Blue Demons especially.
Well, one piece, Matt, I wonder how this is affecting things. We talked to Russell Payne. It's the longest layoff Northwestern will have between games for the next 3 weeks. They've gone Sunday to Friday, and now another misplayed ball from Brian Mayer. Gajadhar helps clean up. Adamandi, right into the feet of Shragi. But Gajadhar gets it back again, and now Adamandi with space on the near side. Italo Adamandi works in an early ball, and there's nothing much there on the back end of it. Sliding challenge from Suhetsky. We'll play it out for a Drake throw. But you wonder if maybe Northwestern, during that extra time off, maybe became a bit complacent. It's hard to explain, but you never know. Russell Payne told us he's so focused in training on what they're going to learn that day, as Fritz Volmar wins the race to that ball over JP Pascarella, plays it out. What they're going to learn that day. He doesn't want guys to walk away from a practice of really varied things and say, you know, what do we really get better at? He wants to focus on one thing, something they did a lot of with the Olympic team when he was over there with the USA this year on the men's side. And that's something he really translated to practices this year for Northwestern, he said. We're not seeing much of that focus that he wanted to strive for in practices on the field today. At the same time, Matt, you got to credit Drake as they bomb one forward again. This time, Visconti not on the same page. They've really taken Northwestern out of their comfort zone. Yarda opens it up for Adekunda. Working on Adamandi. Around him to the right. Adamandi got a foot to that. Headed only as far as Kirsch. But now Bryant Mayer with a more convincing clear. Paul's son trying to run it down. Northwestern earns another throw.
And I think the biggest difference between this game and Northwestern's first two is they're facing a team that has finally decided to step up their press. If you sit back against Northwestern, they will possess the ball. They will try and move the ball around you to find space out wide. As Russell Payne said, teams are either going to let you play wide or they're going to let you play into the middle. With Drake, they've done a really effective job at trying to eliminate both of them. But for Northwestern, the space continues to be wide quickly on the transition. If Fritz Volmar, in this instance, you see him on the far side of your screen, can get as far to the other touchline as possible. If Northwestern can find a pass in the midfield, say Suhetsky, and then find Volmar, that's where they'll be able to really test these Bulldogs.
Well, Drake gets that throw. Peter Reese displeased by the call. Drake trying to slyly earn a couple extra yards before taking the throw. Olatefe Makawi is not going to have any of that. But yeah, Northwestern really compact right now. Every player is on the right half of the field. All 11. Owujo gets it back. Reese in transition, and he couldn't quite connect with it. And it's blasted away. Drake quickly trying to run to flip the field on Northwestern here. Again, like you said, Matt, that pressure. Not allowing Northwestern a moment of space to possess. Now, Bryant Mayer, it's his turn to be backed up a little. Again, you can almost throw a blanket over all 11 for Northwestern right now, or at least 10 without Ponce de Leon. Leggett. Vukovic has had a lot of the ball at his feet today. He's really acquitted himself pretty well. Again, for a true freshman coming over from Australia, can often be a difficult transition to make. Australian game not necessarily that different from the American college game, but there's bound to be distinctions.
With 4 goalkeepers on the roster, Vukovic really had to earn his spot. Pat Flynn said that he decided to stay here, actually, during the summer. He didn't go back home. He wanted to make himself uncomfortable, so he spent the summer playing in the USL League 2, getting that game time.
In front, and Owujo had a chance coming forward, but he's offsides. In the end, he was offsides. Oh, wow, it looked like a penalty was maybe initially being given there. But offsides flag was up all the way. It didn't matter in the end. Owujo with a dangerous run, and Reese worked a nice ball in. But he was a little bit ahead of that last defender. Well, we haven't seen Kalafa Olatefe Makawi use the whistle all that much. It hasn't been a very physical game, to be honest. Not many 50-50 calls. Drake earned a penalty that gave them their first goal in the 21st minute. A call overturned on VAR. Reese Mayer committing the foul at the edge of the box. Now Mayer creating space, creating a header. Drake wins it back. Another throw for Northwestern. They don't keep track of throw-ins as an official statistic. The Wildcats might have 25 of them in this half. And Drake content with that, of course, especially if they're in their own end. 60 seconds. The Bulldogs have to be thrilled with the way this half has gone. In all likelihood, have outpossessed Northwestern. They've certainly outshot them 4-2, outchanced them by a hair, and have, in general, controlled this game. Gajadhar trying to make one more chance happen. Owujo in front, gets to the ball, and can't keep it in on the end.
The whole reason that that's even a chance is Esko Yarda takes the playoff. He's too lackadaisical, bringing that ball down, something that we haven't seen from him through 44 and a half minutes. I mean, you are 30 seconds away from halftime. You have to stay focused. You have to keep this lead against a Northwestern team that is not going to give you a lot of chances in the second 45. At least we expect them not to.
Certainly. The question for Drake, though, Matt, going forward, has to be, look, they've played a very high-energy style through 45 minutes as we head into halftime here. They've only taken off 3 players. Can this team sustain this level of energy output through 90? Well, through 45, they've gotten the result they wanted. Drake strikes through the penalty from Damian Segura 20 minutes and 8 seconds into this one. Taking a look at these lineups for Drake, a lot of the subs, at least a couple of the subs, stay on here. And for Northwestern, back to mostly starters. Paul Sun has stayed on. So is Joe Suhetsky, pardon me. And Fritz Volmar stays on at the left back position. So a really interesting mix now with Thagard back on as well. A foul there. A little bit overly physical for the very physical Preston Kipnusu. And pardon me, I missed Akinjide Owujo staying on as well. So it's the veteran forward line for Northwestern to start things off with Owujo and Dewing. 2 grad transfers, Dewing coming in from Air Force this season and Owujo coming in from Villanova. We haven't talked much about them today. Dewing looked effective for a lot of that first half for Northwestern. Owujo didn't really get the chance to get going much. Northwestern hoping to get both of them onto the score sheet here for the first time in a Wildcat jersey.
And we're seeing Fritz Volmar on this near side, significantly wider than he was when he came on in that first half. That has to be a change.
So here's Owujo worked in, has a shot, and goes after it. Volmar had all the space in the world, and he knows it on this far side. Nobody was really looking for him. That opportunity is going to be there, as you mentioned it would be, Matt, as long as Drake stays compact, as they have for much of this game defensively.
Yeah, what I was going to say is intended change. That was something that Russell Payne definitely drilled into his guys, was keeping the width when you're in possession, because it leads to opportunities like that. If Owujo had just picked his head up rather than letting it rip, he might have had Fritz Volmar in some more space.
And that's the type of thing that has a coach tearing his hair out. Maybe that's why Russell, for him to put in that change at halftime and then for his guys to not even look to pick up Volmar on the near side. I can make that joke because I'm headed that way myself, Matthew, you understand. But for his guys to not even look for that opportunity with Volmar running free right after I'm sure he put that in front of everybody. It's not a change you just talked to Volmar about, of course. Got to be frustrating for a head coach to see. Defensive header from Gajadhar. Now Drake retreats through Ryder Barrett. Yarda, who played such a big role in the first half, is let down a little bit by Leggett there. Reese Mayer directing traffic, taking a couple extra steps. Flies over everybody. Ryder Barrett had more time than he used, at least.
It's in these moments that Brandon Claggett has to recognize that he's getting sucked in too much. He has to stay wide. That's what he's talking to his coaching staff about.
Bryant Mayer, making the run. And excellent defending again from Drake to wall it off. And then Preston Kipnusu gets some space. Kipnusu waiting for help. Now cutting onto his right foot. Going to try to do it himself. Kipnusu just wide. What a solo effort from number 14. Preston Kipnusu did it all by himself and nearly had a wondrous second goal.
That would have been some unreal goal from Preston Kipnusu. I didn't know the large guy had technical skills like that. He cut inside, he cut outside. Very similar to Messi dropping Boateng. That would have been one for the highlight reel for Kipnusu if he had managed to tuck it past Ponce de Leon.
Well, you can certainly see the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year coming out to action right now. He is rising to the moment against a ranked opponent in their building. Looking over the top for Awujo, it's just not there right now. But Gajadhar slips in to win a ball. And he wants to open it up. Got options on the near side, and he gets it out to Volmar, who's got acres of space. Sun making the run through the middle. Paul Sun, and it's played out for a throw. Excellent defending on the back end there was Ryder Barrett. And JP Pasquarella tracking back as well. They're going to go for the long throw again. And Prince comes towards the ball again. Will they do something a little different with it this time? We'll see. Drake bracketing Prince, as they have. Mayer this time goes towards his brother. It's headed back to him. And he heads it in front. Free at the back. Oh my. What an opportunity back there for Fritz Volmar. And he's going to want that back.
I actually think Butkovic might have even gotten a touch to that. I think the way that ball came off of Fritz Volmar's foot, that ball should have been in the back of the net. And I do think Butkovic may just do enough to push that one over the bar.
Well, we didn't see any appeals from the Northwestern players for a corner. But man, Volmar,
I'm trying to give Fritz Volmar the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
You're 4
fair.
yards out. It comes on very hot. You don't have a lot of time to react.
And a tough angle on the bounce as well. It certainly wasn't expecting it to get all the way through. I mean, it must have gotten through 12 players. Either way, the best chance of the day for the Wildcats goes begging. And Volmar ridden off the ball. No whistle as Pasquarella comes forward. Volmar clips it away. But now Northwestern starting to build a little bit more. Paul Sun helped create that last chance, and now it's knotted on by Awujo, towards Awujo. And he runs it down. Akinjide Awujo looking for a foul. There really wasn't a lot of contact there. And it goes for a throw instead. There's a nice header by Doing to set up Awujo. Number 17 couldn't quite track it. Preston Kipnusu is starting to look a little bit tired on this near side. He played a lot of minutes of high physicality, high impact soccer in that first half. Only sat for the last 10. Paul Sun with space, and he's taken off of it by Yarda. Northwestern playing with a bit of a sense of urgency now. Nigel Prince looking for Claggett. Brendan Claggett over the top, maintains possession, chests it down behind Gajadhar. Drake comes the other way. Again, looking at Kipnusu to potentially hold up or make something happen. Cut out by Prince. And a poor ball by Segura gives it back.
And already you're seeing a much better intensity from Northwestern. Now Drake is the one with all 11 of their players in their defensive half. Northwestern has really stepped up their line. They're really trying to force the Bulldogs back towards their own goal.
Nodded on and cleared. Kipnusu got into Prince a little, but the Wildcats safely play it back to Rafael Ponce de Leon. Beaten for the second time this season today on the only 2 shots on goal he's faced. It's tough for Rafael. That first one against the ball was pretty tough to save. I mean, would have had to have a really spectacular effort. And on this one, he got beat on a pen. It's a hard luck 0-0-0 save percentage. Plays it over the top. calmly played away by Barrett. Now an in-curling ball from Pascarella, but Kipnusu no chance to get near that.
But I think just to your point about Kipnusu, I think early in this match, he might have the energy, the drive to get to that ball. I mean, at that point, he doesn't even want to expend the energy this late in the match. And again, there is still so much time. I would expect to see him subbed off, if not soon, in the next 10, 15 minutes.
They've asked a ton of him today, and he has really been up to it. Have to credit what number 14 has done up top for this team. Played on by Segura, looking for Carlson. Trying to track it down against Bryant Mayer, who's got a lot of shielding work to do, and it goes off the flag and stays in. Oh my goodness, hard luck for Bryant Mayer. Northwestern able to clear their lines eventually. A lot of strange bounces on the pitch today. We talked to Russell Payne. This field got a little bit of a facelift over the offseason, deadening the ball a little bit more, with some more rubber pellets being added. Not sure if it's actually rubber. Whatever substance it is. Russell Payne said he was waiting for a big rain to come and soften the field up even a little bit more. We've had some rain recently, but not much. Not sure if it's been exactly what he was looking for. But the field has looked relatively soft today. I say as though I know what that really looks like.
And it's tough with this field especially because this one here at Northwestern Medicine Field is always going to play fast, no matter how many black tire rubber pellets are on the pitch. The turf, at the moment, even with football coming here tomorrow, still super short. The ball loves to run. It loves to skip.
Bryant Mayer slowly working his way down the far sideline. The Wildcats sending some men into the box now. Paul's son with acres of space around him. Nobody near number 7 right now. Bryant Mayer taking his time to deliver this throw and changes tactics. Nearly an illegal throw as he gets it to Nigel Prince. Reese Mayer looking back to the far side for Claggett, and the header is poor. Brandon Claggett could have let it go out for a corner, instead gets on the ball. Mayer. In swinging ball. Oh, that would have been wondrous from doing, but couldn't get on it. Son from way out. That never had a prayer. It lands in the 12th row somewhere. Some interesting choices from this Northwestern attack in that moment of possession. Subs staying loose on both sidelines. We haven't seen either coach. It's pretty early in the second half still, of course. We haven't seen either coach really think about making a move yet, but there will be a break. No? Okay, I saw the referee stopping the clock momentarily there. I guess it was just he was seeing some time wasting from Thomas Butkovic. And now it'll start up again. Prince fending off Kipnusu. That's been the combination that's going after these aerials. Now Segura can't get to it. 11.5 minutes into this half. Northwestern has looked better, but they've only had the one real chance. Still chasing that goal.
But defensively from Drake, I mean, this has been one of the most well-organized teams I've seen in college soccer in a really long time.
Thaddeus doing, getting on his horse, running it down. Cross is deflected and held in by Butkovic.
And I really did, after watching their match against Creighton, I thought that they would have trouble up against a team like Northwestern, who attacks very similarly with a 3-back as Creighton did. But to their credit, they have learned from that match. They know that they need to stay in narrow width with very little depth in order to just frustrate Northwestern and keep them putting balls forward.
Bryant Mayer working it through with various touches on parts of his body, but it's one away again by Eskil Yarde. And Yarde can't save it on the sideline. Both coaching staffs gesturing at players, at refs. It's that time of night. When everything starts to come into focus, the last half hour approaches here at Northwestern Medicine Field. As Awujo gets whistled. An opportunity. We've seen Drake play balls in from far less close than this. Segura over it here from just inside that lacrosse line. That's about 35 yards from goal. I say about. It's exactly 35 yards from goal. At least in a north-south way. The left-footed ball. Nodded on and over the end line. Pasquarello was trying to play in Holtebeck. Not really his game. The center back's up there to head it. Not to do much else. But now a player's gone down in the back. It is. So after the delay, it will be Northwestern to play the goal kick. Nigel Prince, another strong performance from him. Hasn't really had that much to do, to be honest. But when he's been called upon, he's answered.
I mean, between these two sides, it's one shot on goal, and it's the penalty. There has not been a lot in front of goal. The majority of this match has been played in the middle third.
Son goes down hard. We haven't even seen the referee think about a card yet, and he hasn't been warranted in thinking about one, certainly. Like we mentioned earlier, hasn't been much of a physical game. As Son drives forward on the near side. Pass knocked away before it could reach its target. Trying to hold things up again is Kip Nusu. Some jersey tugging, and Volmar was looking for the nutmeg, and not smart there, as Paul Son was going to get to that ball first, but Volmar pulls down Leggett and is whistled. It's now 5 fouls against Northwestern, 6 against Drake so far today. And Drake already seemingly at that point of the match where they are going to take every second off the clock on every restart, and now Vutkovic going to bring it back 3 yards. Why not? Booms one ahead. Prince there first. But Kipnusu, he was looking for the foul all the way, and he gets it. Looks like Nigel Prince might have stepped on the back of his leg there. Not sure how much was in it. But either way, Kipnusu does very well to earn his team a free kick. It was Volmar who would have stepped on his leg, pardon me.
And just with how much he's run, if you're Fritz Volmar, you have to know that Preston Kipnusu will go down at any semblance of contact. The minute that you even touch him with a toe, he's going to go down, swan dive onto the pitch.
Again, though, you have to credit Kipnusu. He's a young player. He
100%.
He has that knowledgeability. He knows where his limitations are at this stage of his career.
In his first collegiate start, I've been extremely impressed. I thought he was really good off the bench. And I think here from the get-go, he's been wonderful.
Lifted ball to the middle. That was an opportunity. But the first head to it belongs to a black jersey. It looked like Reese Mayer. The middle of the field, looking for an opportunity there was Yarda. And that ball ends up behind the clock. That's the most that Drake has had the ball, really all half, in an attacking posture at least. Not much to show for it, but again, it's 3 minutes of not letting Northwestern have the ball in an attacking posture. Paul Son. Walled off. Drake just has so many more bodies in the midfield right now. They outnumbered Paul Son 6-1 between the lines. There's nobody there. Prince keeps it in. And now Gajadhar is pushed away. It's going to be a foul. Again for Northwestern, as now Gajadhar down and gets back up. I think he realized that if he stayed out any longer, they might have to sub him. But again, Gajadhar didn't have much help right there and created the chance out of nothing.
And Russell Payne was just furious with that call, and I think Esko Yarda is the one who gets awarded that yellow card.
Yeah, Yarda with the push in the back there earns the first yellow of the match about 62 minutes in. We saw him have an excellent first 44. Since then, It's been a little less than excellent. Conversation between coach and official. And now ready to get back underway. Drake readying at least one sub. They still got 4 moments left to use. Big gap right now between the back line for Drake and Butkovic, but the Wildcats play it short. Now Mayer looking over the top. Trying to play in Owusu. He can't quite corral it. Oh, hard contact from Reese Mayer. And he might see a yellow here. 28 minutes to play, and Northwestern has got to get some things together.
Well, now they want to move the
And now they're going to move it back. It was already over there the first time. Oh, boy. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of a laugh, and it looks like Kalaf Alatefa Makawi, our head referee tonight, has a little bit of a smile on his face as well. In all fairness, he's done a great job tonight between the lines. We've just had a little bit of drawn-out stuff outside of them. And the familiar target of Kip Nusu rises up, but can't do much with it. Now, heading it on down the far side is Drake and Cole Schrage, who doesn't come forward nearly as much as his counterpart on the other side in Eric Leggett, but made a run there to help earn his team a corner. It's, I believe, only the second corner. Nope, pardon me. Third corner for Drake of the contest. We've only had 4 corners total. Louis Kirsch to play it in. The in-swinging ball for the midfielder. Plenty of big targets in the box for Drake. You would think Kipnusu would be a primary one. He's being marked right now heavily. Again, the ball too low and a high boot there. Oh, and a Northwestern player has gone down holding his face. Is that Owujo? I believe it is. Owujo in the middle of the field. And now we're having another animated conversation. And maybe will we see yellow here?
If Sam DeLong gets a yellow card here, I'll be very surprised. I don't think he makes any contact with Owujo. I think Owujo's smart. Again, any cleat, any kick in that area, as an attacking player, you're taught to go down, looking for the contact. But I just don't think there's anything in that.
Well, it's just going to be a talking to, I suppose. He's telling DeLong, you really don't want to kick up high, okay? That's illegal. You don't want to do that.
And he's just on the pitch, too. I mean, that is his first challenge. That would have been so harsh.
I just always find it funny, Matt, with these talking tos, right? When you're giving a talking to for a player yelling at another player, for a player harshly shoving another player, you know, you're warning away from behavior. When you're giving a talking to after a high boot, what are you really telling the guy? Stop getting your boot up that high? I mean, there's not a lot of nuance in that situation. Doing nods it on. Suhetsky gets himself in a battle of headers. Owujo putting pressure on. Volmar was nearly free, and it comes off his hand there. No! They're going to call a foul the other way. Oh my, what an opportunity here for Northwestern, right at the edge of the box. Referee must have seen a foul before that ball came off the hand of Fritz Volmar. And suddenly Northwestern has one of their best chances of the match. Suhetsky over the ball. You would have to think he'd be the primary player here to go at this one. A great look for his left foot. He is really capable from this area of the field. A ton of power from Joe Suhetsky. Another one of these graduate transfers for Northwestern. Suhetsky came in from Maryland. A big opportunity from Northwestern from what a play that looked like it was about to fizzle out. Suhetsky looking for the second goal of his young Northwestern career. It would come at a huge time. About 25 and a half minutes to play. The Wildcats chasing a goal. Referee giving the wall a talking to. It's comprised of 7 Drake players and a couple Northwestern players trying to open up some space for Suhetsky's left foot. He has a go, and it's saved. Rebound, Volmar. It came high off his head. Another opportunity in front of goal for Fritz Volmar. Overhead kick back in front, still not clear. Paul Sun has one, and it slips through, but save made in the end by Butkovic. Not a bad effort from Suhetsky. He got the rebound he wanted, but Fritz Volmar couldn't do anything with it.
It's really well done from Suhetsky to bend this one around the wall. It's really tough from that distance. You hear it time and time again to get it up and down. From 20 yards out, Suhetsky just elects to bend it around. And again, that's another time Fritz Volmar just super unlucky with that rebound.
Claggett coming forward. Oh, lots of space out here for Dewing. And now Volmar making a run through. Dewing spots him. Volmar working onto the left foot against the newly entered DeLong. And the second defender comes to help. Great team defense there. And Suhetsky and Volmar not on the same page. Drake once again defends their way out of a tight spot. Leggett and DeLong combining. We will have just a clock stoppage for time wasting again. 24 minutes to play. Still have not seen a second half sub. That may change soon. It looks like Idolo Adamandi getting ready, along with a couple of other Wildcats over there. I see Van Deventer and Faggard, I believe. And now a foul is going to be called. Coming through the back, Zalogi Iradukunda. Playing a little bit more of a forward role currently for Drake. You know, they haven't much taken your advice out of halftime, Matt. They haven't stayed all that aggressive. But the defending has really stayed quite strong. You got to credit the Bulldogs for that. They've gone to a 5-at-the-back look in defense. And it will be those three. Oh, pardon me, not Adamandi. It's actually Glassberg coming back on. So Glassberg for Volmar, who had some chances that he'll want back. Faggard for Awujo. And Van Deventer for Suhetsky in the middle. No, Suhetsky stays in. It's Van Deventer. Who has he come on for? We'll find out at some point here soon. Over the top for Dewing. Headed away. Faggard inserts himself. I can't do anything with it. Bryant Mayer for Claggett. And Brandon Claggett has it cut out. Oh, and Nigel Prince, a lot of grabbing. The refs are going to let that go, and finally the foul given. And a quick free kick taken. Numbers forward now with Iradukunda, and now they're going to bring it back to make the free kick deeper.
I think this Drake,
a lot of players are very confused right now.
This Drake coaching staff might be the most fun that I've seen, just in terms of how animated they get whenever a call does or does not go their way.
Nigel Prince has received a yellow for a relatively tactical foul. Had his hands all over Preston Kipnusu coming forward. Referee waited a long time on that whistle, trying to give Kipnusu the chance to play advantage, I suppose.
Well, it's really interesting because I talked to Pat Flynn. He got carded in their match against Creighton, but it ended up resulting in a goal. It was given for arguing for a VAR that was eventually given as a Drake goal, pardon. He said the most deserving yellow card he's ever received. So maybe just waiting to get his tonight until an opportunity presents himself.
Pretty funny as an official to give the guy the yellow card and then still give him the VAR referral. I respect it. Well, Drake switches fields. They're looking dangerous coming forward now. The Bulldogs with Shragi. Shragi still on the ball, dispossessed of it, but gets it back for the throw. We have only seen Drake use 5 subs all evening, and 2 of them were the same player. Only 15 players total have been on and off the field for Drake. 14, pardon me. The ball played in front, and Nigel Prince with some nice defending. Could have been a chance for Iradukunda there. Van Deventer for Faggard. Just didn't have anywhere to go. Drake swarming. Cleared away. And out of play. They say last touch by Drake. So Northwestern continues forward here. Player down behind the play. The referee will have to stop this, you would think. The clock has been paused. Is that Shragi back there? Can't quite see the number from this far away. And now Russell Payne asking some questions of our head official tonight.
This game has really just slowed down. I don't think either team has been able to generate possession in these last 15 minutes. Definitely no longer than 5 passes apiece before either team gives the ball away. And somehow still, we're just halfway through this second half. There's still a lot of time for Northwestern to get back into this match, or for Drake to try and seal it off to get that second goal.
Brian Mayer plays a throw-in back to Nigel Prince. Can Northwestern find some success moving forward? Drake starting to spread that defense out a little bit more with 5 at the back now. Prince pressured, gets rid of it. Now Brian Mayer over the top for Thagard, trying to run it down. It's knotted on. Thagard nearly got there. In the end, Holtebeck did enough. You see Budkovic storming off his line. He's played a solid game today.
That's really well done by Budkovic in that instance to recognize that he has to come off his line.
Not easy for a young goalkeeper in that situation. Suhetsky over his own head. Van de Venter has his header blocked away. Gajadhar, nobody there. And acres of space for that ball to be played into. Skiparusu again. In a tangle of bodies, and it pops free for Drake suddenly. Radukunda with a little bit of space towards the middle. Suhetsky's there. And clears it away towards Thagard, trying to hold it up. Back for Van de Venter. And now Drake settles things in the back. Long switch over the top of Claggett. And now Claggett wins it away. Nice moment defensively for Brandon Claggett, finding Thagard now. Chris Thagard keeps it in. Now gets it back to Claggett with Do It in the middle. Claggett has it himself and misses across the face of goal. Saying I would have liked to look at that one. Brandon Claggett had it on his right foot. Couldn't quite find that far post.
I'm surprised Tyler Glassberg isn't more frustrated. If Thaddeus Dewing had space, Tyler Glassberg had an entire hectare with which to run. And I think we were talking about this before the match, but I think the height has really come into play here. A lot of Northwestern's shorter players, Jason Gajadhar, Javen Vandeventer, have struggled to get into this match, large so because a lot of it has just been in the air. We've seen a lot of Nigel Prince, a lot of Preston Kipnusu, and a lot of Joe Suhetsky.
Yeah, and really a lot of Eskil Yarde as well. Not all of it has been on headers, but he's just been bodying guys off the ball. It's the height and the strength combination at times. A throw in for Drake. And now a conversation going to be had behind the ball here. Budkovic, the true freshman, talking things over with one of his backs and Sam DeLong. As Drake comes forward again.
And in saying that, I would not be surprised if we see Colin McCamey, if we see Peter Reese for these last 20-odd minutes.
Well, now I can confirm that Idolo Adamandi is getting ready. It was Glassberg before. This time it is Adamandi, I can promise. And McCamey as well, starting to prepare. Your predictions have a way of coming true, Matthew. Nodded over the top, and nobody home on the cross for Radukunda. Thagard trying to make himself a presence as Suhetsky swings one forwards. Thagard just burning the gasoline there, getting into the play. And Suhetsky holds it up. Drake continuing with that theme of really playing it in the air, and the high boot from Bryant Mayer is called. That ball didn't touch the ground for 4 touches, and Drake gets a free kick out of it. And the subs will come now for Northwestern. Adamandi for Claggett. And Claggett's last touch of the ball will be that shot that whipped wide, and he's displeased with that. Suhetsky comes off for McCamey. So every starter for Northwestern is in the game right now, except for Claggett, who was just replaced by Adamandi. What can this group of Wildcats do? There's not many changes left for Russell Payne to necessarily make. Long ball ahead, and what a ball it is. Opportunity coming forward for Iradukunda. Lays it off for Leggett. Leggett with a lovely move. Looking for the ball in front, and it's kicked away. Still loose. Iradukunda has one. Deflected and saved. Oh, Kipnusu had an opportunity. What a chance going forward for Drake. Ponce de Leon, you have to credit him, was up to the task, but this Northwestern defense was asked a lot of questions there. One of the best chances of the night for either side.
It's a good save from Rafael Ponce de Leon. That touch from Kipnusu is coming at him from 2 yards out, but Tyler Glassberg cannot jump in like he did on the edge of the box. Eric Leggett, so easy to just take a touch pass and fire that one into the box.
Well, Glassberg will be hungry to make up for it. He's got space on this near side, and Northwestern wants to flip the field towards him. Van Deventer trying to break down Kirsch here. Van Deventer cutting towards the middle, now back out to the left. And he's got space. Number 11 on the ball. Van Deventer rode off of it, earns the free kick. Maybe a little soft there. Kirsch doesn't like it, but Van Deventer, his best spurt of the match in that little sequence of possession. And McCamey now has a real opportunity to work in a dangerous ball. One thing we started to notice with our center official here, every time there's a foul, he backs it up about 3 yards to where the foul actually occurred to take the free kick. You can't accuse him of letting teams get away with anything. So McCamey will play this one from about 33 yards from goal. Looking for Prince, and it's not a good service, but it's still deflected onwards. And Northwestern's going to let it go out. They think it's a corner. Foul called in front. Foul was called in front there. And Nigel Prince really doesn't understand that call. He is frustrated. The Northwestern captain, not afraid to speak up when the time is right, but he's showing a level of frustration I haven't often seen from him. So not sure who that foul was on, but they've given it to one of the Northwestern players, and it's allowed Drake a free kick from well in their own end here. The clock's been stopped for about 15 seconds. 14 and a half minutes for Northwestern to find an equalizer. They've put pressure on Drake in this second half, but not nearly enough of it. Long ball over the top. Budkovic with the wind at his back. Drake again just keeping the ball in the air. Van Deventer walling his man off. Thagard has it hop to him. Chris Thagard working down the left-hand side, has Van Deventer behind him. Now Thagard trying to work his way in. Not much doing, and it's kicked away. And a lot of talking. Oh, boy, we got some pushing and shoving. Ryder Barrett was really pumped up about making that play. He went into Thagard. Thagard went back into him. And the referee is going to let him go.
I think it's fantastic defending.
It was.
From Ryder Barrett.
Excellent.
Started every single match last season. Has been a constant in this Drake back line now for over a year. Just did so well to frustrate Chris Thagard, to force him back.
Had him locked up there. That ball's headed on. Adamandi on it at the back end and doesn't have much to do. Gajadhar ridden down. Unnecessary foul there, and the frustration for Irogi Iradukunda, who knows that a card might be coming, and more than that, well, now the clock's going to be stopped. There is going to be a card coming. More than that, he just, I think, wishes he didn't give that foul in that area. But now Gajadhar spending some time on the ground. Northwestern, got to hope he's okay.